Metaphysics Hour. I am your host, Rory. Today, tonight, whenever you are tuning in, I welcome you to this program. We're going to continue on with our Sunday sermon series, and we're going to be dealing with the book, the Dhammapada. It's a great book, it's a Buddhist text, and it's essentially a bunch of sayings of the Buddha that were orally passed on from monk to monk for centuries, and then at some point, the written language was becoming more of a thing, and these sayings were put onto paper, and here they remain. Now, thousands of years later, let's dive in. This is from verse 4, called Flowers. As a garland maker chooses the right flowers, choose the well-taught path of the Dharma, and go beyond the realm of death and of the gods. As a garland maker chooses the right flowers, those who choose well go beyond the realms of death and of gods. Remember that this body is like froth, of the nature of a mirage. Break the flower-tipped arrows of Mara. Never again will death touch you. As a flood sweeps away a slumbering village, death sleeps away those who spend their lives gathering flowers. Death sweeps them away while they are still gathering, caught in the pursuit of pleasure. But the wise live without injuring nature, as the bee drinks honey without harming the flower. Do not give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give it to what you do or fail to do. Like a lovely flower, full of color but lacking in fragrance, are the words of those who do not practice what they preach. Like a lovely flower full of color and fragrance are the words of those who practice what they preach. Many garlands can be made from a heap of flowers. Many good deeds can be done in this life. The scent of the flowers or sandalwood cannot travel against the wind, but the fragrance of the good spreads everywhere. Neither sandalwood nor the tangira flower, neither locust nor jasmine can come near the fragrance of the good. Faint is the scent of the sandalwood or the tangara, but the fragrance of the good rises high to the reaches of the gods. Good, earnest, and enlightened, never can Mara come near them. A true follower of the Buddha shines among blind mortals as the fragrant lotus, growing in the garbage by the roadside, brings joy to all who pass by. So there's a lot in this particular verse. You can see, in one sense, why Buddhism has such a strong conceptualization of veganism or vegetarianism. Because here the words are saying be like a bee who does no injury to other beings, essentially. And a flower is a being. It's a live entity. Just because it can't talk in a language that you and I hear on a common basis doesn't mean that the flower doesn't live, that it's not a life form. You know, if you water it and give it sunshine and plant it in the soil, it grows. It fulfills its purpose. If it's put in a dark cave, the flower will eventually wilt. The plant will die. So all things are either alive or they are dead, right? And that is on a physical level. So what he's saying here is that there is a type of life that is the pursuit of folly, the pursuit of Maya, which just simply means illusion. And that is seeking pleasure only, gathering flowers up until one's death. And he's saying, do not be like that. Instead, follow the Dharma. The scent of the Dharma, the scent of the good, is much more powerful and lasting than the scent of the temporary pleasures. So in many cases, this is a reminder that life is to be lived, not for the vain pursuit of pleasure and just experience, but in metaphysical terms, life is to be lived for learning. Life is to be lived for service. Life is to be an act in multiple acts and continuous acts of you making the choice to stay in harmony with the Dharma, which, a metaphysician, I would interpret that as universal law. What are the laws that God has made, that the universe has made, and how can we stay in harmony with those laws? And if we can stay in harmony with those laws, then our life is going to have more fulfillment. It's going to have more meaning. There's going to be more good that is us. Just the other day I went to a small town. I delivered a package, and I could tell the person that I delivered the package to wasn't in a great space mentally and emotionally, because I was connected well to myself and to the Dharma in that moment. I was genuinely happy to see this person. And one, it makes my job easier because I can give the package to a person as opposed to leaving it at the door. And two, I was just my cup was running over, right? That good feeling was just, that fragrance was just within me, and it felt wonderful. And it's not always that way, but it was in that moment. And as soon as I made eye contact with this person, I could see the light in him shine. I could see the joy in him be stimulated, just like he had run across a good friend he hadn't seen in a long time. It was something that allowed him the opportunity to experience joy. Very similar to how the lotus flower growing in the trash heap still brings joy to those who pass by. So the idea here is that when you are well seated within the Dharma, when you're living with the universal force, and you're choosing your activities not just for the pleasure that they can bring, but for the learning opportunity, then you're the best influence for all those around. Again, the Buddha here is cautioning seeking pleasure only, because if you do that, it's a false reality. It's going to be an unfulfilling pursuit. Go beyond the realm of death and of the gods, the pleasure and the temporary satisfaction. Go straight to the source. Follow the Dharma and live your life in such a way that you are experiencing fulfillment from just a life well lived. Whether or not other people recognize that or value that is independent of you knowing that you are living a life that is in harmony with the Dharma, that's in harmony with universal law. And that's what really matters.